So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So guys, I told you I'll do 3 videos about Errol Spence in his interview with Barbershop Conversations. I watched his interview, and the second part I wanted to do, so obviously I uploaded the first part about Crawford and Spence, and how Spence said that, he wants to become undisputed and he wants to fight Terence Crawford. He also said that he will knock Manny Pacquiao out and put him into retirement. He made some points, or some points about the Danny Garcia fight. He said he wasn't at his best at Danny Garcia fight. He goes, he was probably at 70%. He goes, when he got back into sparring, he goes, it was all kind of, he wasn't too sure. And he said when he sparred for the first time, he didn't look too good. I personally thought that although Errol Spence almost played a shutout, I do think Danny Garcia didn't really test Spence that much. I don't think Danny Garcia hit him enough. And I think Danny Garcia's dad was right when he said that, I don't think Danny Garcia really stepped on the gas. He goes, when Danny Garcia towards the end of the fight started letting his hands go and started trading with Spence, I think that's what Angel wanted Danny to do. But for some reason, I don't know why, Danny didn't let his hands go. Now, it's easier said than done, because when you're in there and you're taking punches, and Errol Spence can punch, it's a lot easier said than done, because no fighter likes to get hit, especially when it's off a fighter that can punch. So it's easier just to go out there and, throw caution to the wind and just let your hands go and start, but leaving yourself open to be countered and be hit by Spence. And Spence, like I said, can punch. So, it's a lot easier said than done when his dad's saying, "I'll go and let your hands go," because Spence is throwing leather. And but I don't think Danny Garcia tested him enough. I don't think Danny Garcia, with the granite chin that Garcia has, Garcia should have, I felt like, let his hands go more, especially with the accident and what Errol Spence was coming off. I actually think Danny Garcia should have let his hands go a lot more in that fight. And I think he made it easier for Errol Spence to dominate him, because I think he didn't really... Spence is the better boxer, and he just outboxed Garcia. Garcia needed to put pressure on him. But like I said to you before, Sean Porter has a different style. I actually think if Sean Porter had fought Errol Spence after the accident, I actually think Errol might have lost that fight, just because I think Sean Porter would have pressured him, made it difficult, and after coming back from the accident, that would have been a horrible fight. Porter almost beat him before the accident. So I do think, although a lot of people think that Errol looked good and the excuses about the accident are behind him, I'm not so sure, because I think Danny Garcia's style played into his hands, and I don't think Danny Garcia threw caution to the wind as much as I think he should have in the fight. And I don't think he landed as much as he should have, because I don't think he threw a lot. And his dad was asking him to, go in there and attack him. His dad knew that, Errol Spence might be damaged goods. But unfortunately, I don't think Garcia went and threw like his dad wanted him to. And I think that made it an easier night's work for Errol Spence. And Danny Garcia has even the losses that he's had have been very competitive. But this fight was quite one-sided. I think that was probably down to the fact that I don't think Danny Garcia really, like I said, threw caution to the wind. So I do agree with Errol Spence that he probably thinks he was at 70%. I don't think Errol Spence was at his best against Danny Garcia. I think he looked tentative. I think he looked nervous as well. I want to see how he looks against Pacquiao, because, like I said, if there are any chinks in the armor after the accident, I do think Pacquiao will bring him out. I know people are saying you can't use the excuses because he put in a great performance, but like I said, I think Danny Garcia's performance played into Errol Spence's hands. I think Manny Pacquiao will test if there's any vulnerabilities. I think this is the fight where we'll find out if there has been any damages from the accident, not just physically but mentally, psychologically. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. Very interesting to see. That's why I think there's still a lot of questions to be answered from Spence. And I think Spence says it himself in the fight that I don't think he was at his best. Well, he believes in this fight he's going to be at his best. And he's looking to knock out and retire Manny Pacquiao. Now, Manny Pacquiao could retire if he wins, because he's at that stage of his career where, you know, any fight could be his last fight, because Manny Pacquiao is at the end of his career. He's at, you know, at the stage of his career where fighters are, you know, they're thinking of every fight, even if they win or lose, they're thinking about retirement. I don't think if he wins, he'll retire, just because I think a fight with Terence Crawford for the undisputed would make a lot of sense for Manny. And I think Manny's one of those trailblazers where he likes to break records, likes to create history. He likes to enhance his legacy. I don't think he'll go out if he wins. If he loses, then yes, most definitely, I think retirement is a possibility then, because, yeah, you know, if he would have done everything, he's not going to get a fight with Crawford in terms of... He could get a fight with Crawford, but what I'm trying to point out is, what would be the point? You've just lost. And I think there'd be no shame in losing to Errol Spence and going out at the top. I wouldn't like to see Manny Pacquiao, you know, get beat by somebody that he shouldn't be beating him, even at this stage, because he gets old. So I personally think that if he was to lose, I think maybe that might be it. That might be Manny. That might be it. Listen, if he wins, that might be it. But like I said, this isn't a foregone conclusion. It's a tough fight. Manny Pacquiao is not an easy fight, and like I've said before, you can't write Manny Pacquiao off. You can't write him off. But I do think, like I said, what Errol was saying about him coming in better for this fight, I do believe that. I do believe that obviously, no matter what he said prior to the Danny Garcia fight, there would have definitely been some... There definitely would have been some tentativeness from Spence coming into the fight against Danny Garcia. He may come into the fight more confident, although I think he's going to be tested a lot more. So if there are any scarrings from the accident, I do think that Manny Pacquiao will show those weaknesses, just because I think Manny's style and I think he's just a more complete, better fighter than Danny Garcia. I think Manny Pacquiao will bring out those weaknesses. So I think the questions will be answered in this fight. Sorry, and that's why I'm intrigued, because I don't think we got to learn. I think we got to learn that Errol Spence is still a great fighter and stuff, but I don't think all the questions were answered, just because I think Danny Garcia didn't press the accelerate button enough. He didn't jump on Spence enough, and that could have been because of Spence. Maybe Spence was hitting him with shots, and he felt Spence's power, and he didn't want to get careless. You know, that could definitely be a reason why. But I do think Manny Pacquiao is going to test a lot of those. He's definitely going to answer a lot of those questions in this fight against Pacquiao, because I think Pacquiao will test him a lot more. So yeah, but I personally think this is going to be a great fight. This is the fight we wanted. We wanted from Pacquiao. You know, we either wanted him to fight Crawford or Spence, and we've got it. We've got it. We finally got it. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for this one. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Great matchup. And like I said, I think Errol Spence is confident. Manny Pacquiao is confident. You know, Errol Spence is going for the knockout. I'm not sure it's going to be a one-punch knockout here. I think he's going to look to wear Manny Pacquiao down. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I don't think if Manny Pacquiao is stopped in this fight, I don't think we'll see him again, if I'm honest. I don't think Manny Pacquiao will do the exhibitions. Maybe he would. Who knows? I don't think he'll do the exhibitions like Floyd has done. I don't think he'd do that. But now, having said that, he was in talks to fight Conor McGregor. So, you know, who knows what Manny Pacquiao decides to do if he was to lose. I'd personally like to see him, you know, just retire. You wouldn't like to see Manny Pacquiao hurt or injured, you know. So yeah, I personally would like to see him, you know, retire if he was to lose. But, you know, if he was to fight on, you know, we'd all watch it, we'd all tune in. But I think the best thing for Manny to do, if he was to lose, was probably call it a day. But like I said, we're not thinking about retirement. We're not thinking about anything. We're thinking about a fight which I believe is 60-40 in Spence's favor, and a fight that Manny Pacquiao could easily win. So, and like I said, there's still for me questions to be answered from Errol Spence, which I'm not sure he did in the Danny Garcia fight, just because of the way the fight played out. I think in this fight there's going to be a lot more issues that he's going to have. And if there is any, like I said, scarring from the accident, I think Manny Pacquiao will bring it out, because I just think Pacquiao is a more complete, he's more dangerous with his offense. I think he hits as hard, if not harder, than Danny Garcia, and I think he's a lot faster than Danny Garcia. So those punches are going to be landing. Those punches are going to be landing. But again, Spence is going to go into this fight a lot more confident, because he's coming off a good win against Danny Garcia. Could that be the undoing of Spence? Could that bring out a better performance because now he's not mentally as worried? Or could that actually bring out the vulnerabilities that may have resulted from the car? See, there's all these things. I remember having in a live stream and talking about this. But I'm not convinced from that Danny Garcia fight, because like I said, I don't think Danny Garcia pressured Errol Spence enough. I don't think he landed enough for us to see. I think it was quite an easy night's work, because I think he stayed off and Errol Spence just outboxed him. I don't think Errol Spence was tested. I think towards the end of that fight, when Garcia started letting his hands go, I think, you know, the fight looked, whoa, you know, Garcia's looking to coming into the fight. But Garcia didn't do that enough. See, for me, Pacquiao will let his hands go and he will throw. And that's what I think the difference is here. I don't think Pacquiao's just going to sit back and let Errol Spence do his thing. I think Pacquiao's going to let his hands go. And Pacquiao's obviously, as we know, very fast. So, yeah, this is intriguing. It's going to be good to see how this all plays out. But what do you guys make of Errol Spence saying that he will knock out and retire Manny Pacquiao? Do you agree with him? Do you think this is the end of Manny Pacquiao? Whether he wins or loses, do you think this is the end of Manny Pacquiao? Do you think if he loses, this is definitely the end of Pacquiao? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.